Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Shehu Said. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. And now the news in details. Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on social media, Dada Olusegun, has said that industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has reduced under the renewed Hope administration, claiming that the union has embarked on strike only once since 2023. He attributed the developments to what he described as deliberate government interventions in the education sector. The special assistant made the assertion in a statement posted on his X handle today, noting that the lone industrial action was a warning strike that lasted 9 days. According to him, the development marked a departure from what he described as years of frequent strikes under previous administrations. In another development, the strike by workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration remains unresolved, despite a meeting between union leaders and government officials in Abuja. The meeting was convened to address workers' demands and find a possible resolution to the ongoing industrial action. Kabir Hassan tells us more.
Hopes of an immediate resolution shade after a closed-door meeting between the Joint Union Action Committee and officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration ended without a breakthrough. The workers had embarked on the strike over unresolved welfare issues, including conditions of service and other outstanding entitlements. While both sides engaged in discussions, union leaders say their concerns were not adequately addressed. Speaking after the meeting, the Vice President of the Joint Union Action Committee said consultations will continue, but stressed that the strike remains in force until workers' demands are fully met.
The reason is that the strike continues. There is no headway. If we can achieve what we want, we'll call off. If not so, we are going on, and by the grace of God, I know God will give us the energy to sustain this strike. So many. We have issue of promotion, our wage award, issue of promotion, pension, NHIS, and so many other things. So many. We have up to 22. I've already given them, and they are not upcoming. So many guys. We ask them to at least, even if it is 50% of what we have asked for, if they can do it, so they will call off the strike.
The FCTA has faced a shutdown as the Joint Union Action Committee of the FCTA embark on a strike over unmet demands. And after an emergency meeting with the FCTA officials, the union said strike continues, despite no resolutions were made, but promised to call off strike if demands are met. I am Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Kabir. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, on his re-election as chairman of the Africa Minerals Strategic Group, describing the development as a strong endorsement of his leadership and Pan-African vision. In a statement issued by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president said Alake's re-election underscored the confidence reposed in him by his ministerial colleagues across the continent. He noted that the Africa Minerals Strategic Group has, under his leadership, continued to articulate a united African position on the management and beneficiation of the continent's mineral wealth. Alake was first elected chairman of the forum in 2024 on the sidelines of the Future Minerals Forum and was re-elected at the group's 2026 annual general meeting held alongside the same conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Vice President Kashim Shettima has officially commissioned the Nigeria House located on the Davos Promenade at the ongoing World Economic Forum meeting in Switzerland. According to a post by the Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, the commissioning marks the first time the Nigerian government has established a dedicated sovereign pavilion at the World Economic Forum. Nwokocha said the facility is a product of a public-private partnership aimed at centralizing Nigeria's investment narrative on the global stage. The federal government has rolled out applications for admission into federal technical colleges in the country and reaffirmed its commitment to free technical education and skills development. In a press statement released by the Ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriowo Folashade, the government said the initiative aligned with its broader strategy to expand access to quality technical and vocational education and to equip young Nigerians with practical, employable, and industry-relevant skills. Boriowo said registration for the National Common Entrance Examination into federal technical colleges will open on Monday, 26 January 2026 and close on Sunday, 24th May 2026. The National Youth Service Corps has issued a travel and safety advisory to prospective Corps members of the 2026 Batch A Stream 1, urging them to prioritize their safety while traveling to their orientation camps. NYC advised Corps members must undertake their journeys only during the daytime, warning against night travel due to increased security and road safety risks. According to the advisory, prospective Corps members are encouraged to use registered transport companies and approved motor parks to reduce exposure to unsafe travel conditions. The NYSC also urged travelers to share their live location with family members or trusted contacts throughout their journey, noting that this could be helpful in emergencies. Turning to politics now, as the ruling All Progressives Congress maintains its strong hold in the north, Gombe State stands out as a subnational unit where the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led party has established clear dominance, largely due to leadership squabbles within the main opposition People's Democratic Party and the fractious African Democratic Congress. Governor Muhammad Inuwa Haya of Gombe State heads into the 2027 general election with significant advantages. As chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum and coordinator of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors in the region, the governor benefits from opposition parties' inability to mount a credible challenge to his leadership. The political drama that once erupted between Yahaya and his predecessor, Senator Danjuma Goje, over the control of the state APC during the closing years of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure has since subsided. Goje, widely regarded as a political godfather, has confined his influence largely to the Gombe South Senatorial District. The three chairmen of Badagry local government and LCDS have hailed the chief executive of Samuel Mayuwon Ajoshe movement for supporting APCE registration. Babatunde Hampe, chair of Badagry Council, gave the commendation after meeting three APC chairmen and chieftains at the council secretariat in Ajara. Hampe said the meeting was on the progress and challenges of registration process and the intervention of the movement. He said the meeting was to brief party leaders on their meeting with Samuel Ajoshe and how he has promised to assist the party in the e-registration of AC membership card. Judicial matters now. Former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has been taken into custody by security operatives shortly after his release from the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja. Operatives of the Department of State Services reportedly picked him up immediately after he exited the facility. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission clarified that it did not arrest Malami. Officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service confirmed that Malami was released after meeting his bail conditions. Officials said he has been released. He perfected his bail conditions and was released this afternoon, another added. He joined the DSS in their vehicle after his release. Nearly 2 years after a federal high court in Abuja ordered the federal government to investigate, prosecute, and punish perpetrators of all attacks against journalists and other media practitioners and take measures to prevent further attacks, The Attorney General of the Federation is asking the Court of Appeal in Abuja to allow the government to appeal the judgment. He also requested an extension of time since the 3 months prescribed by law for lodging appeals had lapsed. In a motion on notice filed on December 23, 2025 by Abba Bello Muhammad, a counsel in the Federal Ministry of Justice, on behalf of the Attorney General, the government sought an order of the Court of Appeal extending time for it to appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court delivered by Justice Inyang Eko on February 16, 2024. Section 24, subsection 2A of the Court of Appeal Act 2024 as amended stipulates that the period for the giving of notice of appeal or notice of application for leave to appeal in a civil matter is 3 months, where the appeal is against a final decision of the court. You are watching broadcasts of Midday News. Midday News continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. Our major weather highlight today is a surge of moist maritime winds affecting most of the southern region and parts of the north-central cities. And this will result in higher humidity levels and warmer conditions across these areas. For the coastal zones, early morning thunderstorms with light rains are expected to affect the southwest coast as well as Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. As the day progresses into the late afternoon and evening hours, rainfall is likely to spread more inland, affecting parts of Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, Edo, Imo, and Abia states. Up north, conditions remain mostly dry and sunny. However, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and parts of Sokoto states will experience moderate dust haze with reduced horizontal visibilities of about 2 to 5 kilometers. Residents in the rainfall areas should watch out for brief rain showers, while aviation operators should check the NIMET e-flight folder portal for the latest weather briefings before each operations. And that's your weather update. Join us again.
Welcome back. And we begin the second segment of the news with business, where the Debt Management Office, DMO, has announced that the federal government will seek to raise 900 billion naira through the reopening of 3 federal bonds in its January 2026 auction. According to the office circular issued, the auction is scheduled for January 26, 2026, with settlement set for January 28, 2026. The offering spans medium and long-term bonds, providing investors with opportunities across multiple maturities. And the Nigerian Export Promotion Council says the non-oil sector earned $6.1 billion from export in 2025, marking the highest performance recorded by the sector. Executive Director of the Council, Nonye Ayeni, made this known while presenting the 2025 non-oil export performance and the outlook for 2026. Business correspondent Kikelomo Okere was there for Global Television.
The Executive Director of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nonye Ayeni, says the non-oil export earning rose to 11.5% year-on-year in 2025, surpassing the $5.46 billion recorded in 2024. She noted that export volume also increased to 8.02 million metric tons, up to 10% from the previous year, reflecting steady growth across agricultural, industrial, and mineral products. According to her, Nigeria shipped 281 non-oil products to 120 countries, including Netherlands, Brazil, and India. The Council attributes this record performance to strategic government policies under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed Hope agenda, capacity building programs for exporters, enhanced compliance and monitoring, as well as strengthening partnership with development agencies.
Non-oil export performance in 2025 reached an all-time high The non-oil export sector rose. Export rose to approximately $6.1 billion, representing a year-on-year growth of about 11.5%, over and above the $5.4 billion recorded in 2024.
Looking ahead, 2026 promises further growth, she says. NEPC also plans to expand value addition, strengthen clusters, reduce exports rejects, broaden SME participation, and leverage international trade agreements such as the Nigerian UAE CEPA to open new markets. These measures aim to consolidate Nigeria's position as a leading non-oil exporter in Africa and globally.
This 2026, we will continue to recalibrate and re-strategize to be able to achieve much more superlative performance.
The NEPC boss reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Nigerian exporters and growing the non-oil export sector. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has raised Nigeria's economic growth forecast for 2026 to 4.4%, up from the 4.2% projection released in October 2025. The revised outlook was contained in the IMF's January 2026 update of the World Economic Outlook, which was unveiled. The adjustment reflects a more positive assessment of Nigeria's medium-term growth prospects amid ongoing policy reforms and broader regional recovery. According to the fund, the upgrade to Nigeria's outlook forms part of its wider evaluation of global economic conditions, which it expects to remain relatively stable in the coming years. It noted that Nigeria's improved forecast aligns with gradual but broad-based economic strengthening across sub-Saharan Africa rather than an isolated revision. We move to the foreign scene where the Congolese army says it has regained control of the South Kivu city of Uvira following the withdrawal of Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. Government sources say pro-Kinshasa Wazalendo fighters entered Uvira's southern districts, followed later by Congolese special forces, and authorities declared the city fully recaptured. M23 fighters seized Uvira in early December, but announced last Thursday that they were handing responsibility for the city to the international community. The United Nations says 3 years of war have put the Sudanese people through hell, blasting the vast sums spent on advanced weaponry at the expense of humanitarian aid and the recruitment of child soldiers. Speaking in Port Sudan during his first wartime visit, UN Human Rights Commissioner Volker Turk said the population had been subjected to horror, stating that funds that should be used to alleviate the suffering of the population are instead spent on advanced weapons, particularly drones. Here is Zaharau Nasiru's report.
Since April 2023, Sudan has been gripped by a conflict between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces that has left tens of thousands of people dead and around 11 million displaced. The United Nations estimate that more than 21 million people are facing acute food insecurity, and 2/3 of Sudan's population is in urgent need of humanitarian aid, with the UN repeatedly warning of rampant interference from foreign actors.
The Sudanese armed forces must cease these intolerable attacks against civilian objects that are indispensable to the civilian population, including markets, health facilities, schools and shelters. Again, I leave with a plea that human rights be central to building confidence and bringing this war to an end, to resuming the difficult task of building a sustainable peace. It is certainly very difficult, but it is not impossible, and I feel very much encouraged.
In addition to the world's largest hunger and displacement crisis, Turk noted that Sudan is also facing what he described as the increasing militarization of society by all parties to the conflict, including the arming of civilians. The United Arab Emirates has been widely accused of supplying the RSF with weapons, mercenaries, and political backing, which Abu Dhabi consistently denies. The army's biggest backers are Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and it has reportedly also receiving arms, including drones from Iran and Turkey. Zahra Nasir, reporting for Global TV.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has been invited to join United States President Donald Trump's Board of Peace, purportedly aimed at resolving global conflicts, as well as overseeing governance and reconstruction in Gaza. The invitation is extended as Russia's nearly 4-year war on Ukraine continues and a peace deal there remains elusive. Trump had been pushing for an end to the war, one he claimed he will stop within 24 hours of taking office a year ago. A war of attrition has been raging on the ground and peace negotiations are ongoing, but momentum has slowed again. We move to the world of sports, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria have climbed to 26th in the latest FIFA Men's World Rankings, their highest position in 16 years, following a strong run at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Eric Chelly's boys were among the biggest movers in the January 2026 FIFA ranking, rising 12 places after securing the bronze medal in the continental competition. Their previous highest ranking was in May 2010 when they were ranked 21st in the world. Back home, the upgrade of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, is expected to gulp the sum of over 24 billion naira from the 203 billion naira budget allocated to the National Sports Commission in the 2026 appropriation bill. Chairman of the Commission, Shehu Dikko, had targeted the end of 2025 to commence work on the stadium as part of broader efforts to revive Nigeria's sports infrastructure. The facility, which was opened in 2003 during the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, has been deemed unfit to host the senior national team and other major competitions, despite ongoing renovation between 2020 and 2022. Under former Sports Minister Sunday Dare, Aliko Dangote has committed the sum of $1 million towards restoring the main bowl of the stadium. Mark Guehi has completed a high-profile move to Manchester City, joining from Crystal Palace on a long-term contract that runs until June 2031. Fabrizio Romano, in a post on X, stated that McGuehi joins Man City from Crystal Palace on contract until June 2031. The England international brings an end to his 4-year spell at Selhurst Park, where he established himself as one of the Premier League's most consistent centre-backs and a key figure in Palace's defence. City moved decisively to secure his signature, with Guehi seen as a strategic addition to Pep Guardiola's squad, both for the present and the long term. And that's it on Midday News, but a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TVNG. I am Shehu Said, once again saying good afternoon.